start things off with the top 5 teams in the East. So, Pepe, I'm going to throw it to you first and let you rip off. Start with your number one. I think this one is fairly obvious that we'll be on the same page for. We'll start off. Who's the number one team in the East at the midpoint of the season?
I mean, probably Boston, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I got Boston as my number one. But what do you have for your number two? Because I think we're going to cross paths a little bit here.
Milwaukee.
I have the New York Knicks as my number 2 team. And I will say I phrased this question or looked at this particular subject as the top 5 teams that I think have a chance to win the championship coming out of the Eastern Conference. I would take the New York Knicks over the Milwaukee Bucks at this point in time. To me, the Milwaukee Bucks are still a theoretical team that we've seen what the Dame Lillard and Giannis duo can do in theory. I have not seen enough of it as an actuality. So why is it that you were bought in on the Milwaukee Bucks specifically?
Well, hang on. You said you haven't seen enough of Dame and Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you seen from the Knicks?
I've seen Jalen Brunson look like the best player on the floor in games that he has no business being the best player on the floor.
And Giannis hasn't?
Sure. But they've also been a team that have been bottom 5 in a bunch of defensive metrics for most of the season. I don't think just a Patrick Beverley is going to fix that. And I do think Adrian Griffin was still dealt a bad hand. That when you go from Drew Holiday to Damian Lillard, your defense is going to get worse. And I don't think Doc Rivers is the cure-all to that. And I've also seen what the Doc Rivers track record looks like as well.
But Giannis is a champion, right?
Sure.
So he's shown it.
Sure. Not this year.
Not this year. But what has Jalen Brunson done in his career? I mean, I know he's a great player, but it's, he's been doing it in January.
Yeah, so you don't believe Jalen Brunson's been a top 10 player in the NBA this season?
Yeah, I think he's closer to 10, but I mean, I think you have to see these players do it in the postseason.
Jalen Brunson's been a playoff riser that we've seen him put that team on his back in past years. The issues with the New York Knicks have never been Jalen Brunson, and frankly, as a team, I think they're better than ever this year. When you look at the pieces they added, the difference Josh Hart makes, the difference that each of these guys, OG Anunoby, we're about to see how he looks like as probably the best equipped wing to match up with a player like Jason Tatum in the entire Eastern Conference. I am buying what they're selling in New York.
But how many shots is Julius Randle getting in one game?
Sure, and that is the concern there. I guess what the ceiling of the New York Knicks is what is their top-end talent. So I'm not going to argue.
Would you say they go as he goes, as Julius Randle goes?
I think they go as Jalen Brunson goes.
Okay. But can Julius Randle average 12 points, 13 points, and they win a playoff series?
He can. There's versions of the good Julius Randle that 4 stretches of time. It's a little bit like the Tobias Harris problem in Philadelphia, that there's moments where you see him play exactly how he should be. But then there's plenty of times where he's playing Julius Randle ball. They're playing Tobias Harris ball, where they're getting the touch that they want, playing the style they want. If that happens, it's a recipe for failure for New York. But I am buying Jalen Brunson as being the lifeblood of the team, guy that has the keys in his pocket, and I think we can drive him home.
All right, well, so let's isolate the 2 stars, right? So Dame and Giannis, 1 and 2. Giannis is 1, Dame's 2. And then Brunson's 1, Julius Randle's 2, right? So which 1-2 punch are you taking?
Well, but basketball's played 5-on-5, and when you bring in the whole picture here, there's also plenty that I think the New York Knicks can have a comfortable time. I think you get Jalen Brunson in the pick and roll against this particular combo. The Knicks are feeling pretty good about that. That the pick and roll defense has been absolutely horrid for the Bucks for us this year. Pat Bev is going to make an impact here, and we will get to that in the topics here. But I don't know. I feel okay about the Knicks and their chances here. I think from a top to bottom roster perspective, I feel better about them. But I think Drew Holiday was such a crucial part of that championship team. I think this Chris Middleton is not the Chris Middleton that was a part of that championship team. And I think even guys like Bobby Portis doesn't quite bring the punch that he once did. That I don't feel okay about that. So I'll lock in. This is my number 2. Where we'll go with this? Where did you have the Knicks on your particular list?
So before the Embiid injury, I would have had the Knicks 4th. I would have had Philly 3rd. Now with the Embiid injury, I think we're going to have to put New York 3rd. I'll put New York 3rd.
I can respect that.
We'll agree to disagree. We just have them switch for 2 and 3. So
my only asterisk I'll throw is I do have the Philadelphia 76ers as the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference. And this is coming by the expectation that Joel Embiid will be back for playoff times. That even with all the skepticism, even with this obviously not being ideal that he has meniscus tear and had to get midseason surgery, there is a world where the best path to the Sixers having a deep playoff run is Joel Embiid to get injured with 10 weeks to go in the season. And if that is a 6 to 8 week injury, a little 2-week ramp-up period, and that could be the recipe for a fully healthy playoff run, which we've yet to see with Joel Embiid.
So I think the problem there is I think you're underestimating how tough it is to come back for Joel Embiid. I mean, he's a center. He's what, 250 pounds?
More.
Probably more, like
Yeah.
300, right?
285, 300.
So if you think he's going to get in shape in 2 weeks of a regular season and then just be ready to go and be 100% in the playoffs, I don't think that's true. And I think the problem is you're going to play a good team first round, right? Because what, they're going to be 6 seed, maybe 7 seed. So they're going to play New York or Cleveland or Miami, right? And do you
Bring
think
me
they can?
Cleveland.
I don't know what you want me to say to
Bring
that.
me Cleveland in the first round. But I hear you with that. I understand. Again, not ideal, but there's also, I think people undersell how little Joel Embiid is fully healthy. That I think is very rare that this guy's operating near 100%. Frankly, this specific meniscus injury was not something that just happened on that Jonathan Kuminga fall. This is the same guy that has missed 3 stretches of the season with just knee soreness or knee swelling, which I think is very much connected to the same injury here. I think he's a guy that much better equipped than the average player, be playing below 100%. And frankly, Joel Embiid at 75%, still better than a significant amount of the NBA.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could still be the third best player in the East. I mean, what we think about Giannis, we think about Tatum.
Embiid's a better player than Tatum.
When he's 100%, but at 65, I mean, and like I always say about Embiid, his lows are much lower than a lot of other superstars, but we don't have to go there. We don't have to go there today. I actually think I wouldn't have New York third, and now that I think about it, I think I would put Miami third.
So you believe in this Miami team, this zombie Miami team. You think they wake up again this year?
Absolutely. I think they're much better. I think they added a lot of pieces. Actually, I don't know. Dude, what do you know about Terry Rozier's injury? Is he going to be all right?
I think he'll be okay. It's gonna keep him out for a little bit, but it's not like something that's gonna keep him out for the season, is my understanding of it. I like Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is the difference maker come playoff time, but they still got a lot of holes in the team. That you got Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson as part of that regular rotation.
Shooters.
Bring them in a pick
Snipers.
and roll with Tyrese Maxey or Buddy Hield, man. Like they're
Buddy Hield.
Yeah, Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield, do you think he's going to win you a playoff series?
I think he will be a difference maker in this offense, that he's not going to be a number one in the pecking order, but there will be a couple playoff games where Buddy Hield has the hot hand and ends with 25, 28 points, and that's a significant part of these Sixers win. So I don't think he'll be the deciding factor, if you want to put it that way, in the series, but I do think that Buddy Hield changes the ceiling of the Sixers team. All right, so to put a bow on this conversation, the official top 5 in the East for me, I have the Boston Celtics number 1, the New York Knicks number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks number 4, and the Cleveland Cavaliers at number 5. I will throw my honorable mentions of the Indiana Pacers, Miami Heat, and Orlando Magic. I still give a slight chance to. If I'm making the actual contenders of the East, teams that I think have a chance to win this conference, it's certainly only the top 4 with the Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks. But Pepe, what's your full top 5? Then we'll switch gears over to the Western Conference.
All right, so I'm going to go Boston 1, Milwaukee 2, Miami 3, Philly 4, and then New York 5.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's my 5.
All right.